Hello and welcome back to the FTHcast. I'm so glad you all are here. It is Wednesday, June something and the other. It's right in the middle of E3 2013, and I am here with Nathan. Say hello, Nathan.
Hey.
And the wondrous Kyle. I think I said the same intro last time.
You did. You kind of blew it. Sorry.
No, I am sorry. That was stupid. But anyway, we're here to talk about E3 and a million other things that happened at E3, including all the sound glitches and horrible crashes that happened live on stage in front of millions, and it was amazing. Just to preface everything, we are not by any means industry insiders. We are not news people. We are not professionals. We are gamers talking about games, and that's why we do this, because we love video games and we want to be a part of the discussion, and we want everyone else to be a part of the discussion. So if you got any questions, comments, anything, visit the YouTubes. I mean, if you're listening to this on YouTube, then you're literally already there. If you're listening to this on Facebook, if you're listening to this on iTunes, I'll bleep
you
that
just want
one
to start
word
over?
out. Nah,
Paul?
we're doing it live. If you're listening to this on iTunes, just go over to YouTube/FreeTheHawk. Okay, let's talk E3. Let's talk conferences. Monday, start out with the Xbox conference. Actually, this is what I want to start out with. I missed the first half. I missed all the Xbox 360 thing. Was there anything about that was interesting? I saw the Xbox One stuff.
Well, they're doing a new Xbox 360 console.
Was that
coming
it?
out immediately.
Because that's dumb.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb. I don't know who would buy it, but whatever. But other than that, I mean, I can't really think of anything they really hit on. Pretty much, they just announced that and then went straight into games.
Was it like relatively cheap? Was it like a $10 Xbox 360?
They didn't say anything about price, so I'm assuming it's
probably
same
like
as,
$300
or probably more expensive than the one that's out right now.
Wow.
I don't understand. This is what kind of similar with like the PlayStation 2. I don't understand. I mean, I know why they do it, but I don't know. Like the PlayStation 2, like I think they stopped making games for that like 6 months ago. Finally,
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why they still focus on. I mean, they're so, oh, this is the future, but we're still making stuff for the 360. Like,
because 10 million people have a 360 and only like a million will probably buy an Xbox One in the first year. I mean, they're just the sales on the Xbox 360 are gonna outsell the Xbox One game wise for the first year, guarantee it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and like I said, I mean, I know why they're doing it, but I just, when you're making the Xbox One so vastly different from the 360, like, are they keeping that around? Like, there was an interview with, I think I mentioned to you earlier today, Paul, but there was an interview with one of the gentlemen from Xbox. I forgot his name, but he was been interviewed, and he just said, oh, you know, there's a device for people that don't have the internet. It's the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's a fail-safe for them now. Like,
And it
Yeah,
might
I
be.
thought that was hilarious.
And you know what actually blew my mind? I was watching, don't ask me why I was watching this, but I was watching about the new Skylander and I saw a YouTube video about it. And he was talking about how it's going to be on the Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Wii U, and the Wii. That blew my mind.
What the frick?
Wii? Come on. And they're talking about, oh, we got all these new graphics and we got all these new cool physics and all these new things, and you can have 1,000 different like toys because it has all the old toys plus all the new toys. I was like, how are you fitting that on that little Wii? I mean, that thing barely does anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. Absolutely.
Well, that's
blew
why
my
I'm
mind.
kind of disappointed with like something like Destiny and like Watch Dogs. They look incredible. Don't get me wrong, but like
Yeah.
the fact that they're still going to be on current gen kind of disappoints me a little bit.
that's what bored me the most about the conferences. Like, every big game they showed, I just saw an hour ago at
Yeah.
the other person's conference.
Yeah.
And that, you're not exciting me because you're showing me a little slightly different trailer than Microsoft did or what Sony did. Like, mention to me that, or I mean, just Xbox, for example, because like at the reveal, they were talking about all those exclusives they were going to have. Okay, well, mention you have Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty Ghosts, whatever,
Yeah,
Destiny,
and talk about the
and then hit me
exclusives.
with the exclusives. That's what it's going to make me want that system. Not,
Yeah.
hey, it's $500 and you have to have internet.
And at least, I mean, quite a few of the exclusives for both the Xbox and the PlayStation were indie titles. They weren't full AAA $60 titles, which is fine. There's a lot of really good indie games, but that's not what we were expecting. I mean, I guess we should have expected that when they said 15.
I don't know. Maybe I'm alone. I was impressed with Microsoft's conference, actually. Like,
I was too.
I mean, I'm still not going to buy, like, probably an Xbox One, but the fact that they came out and literally showed, like, 15 new games was pretty cool. I mean...
Oh, yeah. I think they did a really good job. I think they definitely quelled the fire probably a little bit. But
yeah, it's
just, out of all the conferences, I didn't see that many new things. And I think... possibly maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's, I mean, Nintendo did a lot of new things, and I think their conference, while it wasn't really a conference, it was just a video. I think in my mind it satisfied their fans probably the most out of all the conferences, because it just was like, we're going to show you this game, and this game, most of them you haven't seen before, and the ones that you've barely seen, here's a really, really good look at it. And it wasn't anything like, here's Assassin's. There was no game that we had seen before in any of the previous conferences, and I really enjoyed that.
See, one thing I'm also wondering too is, I mean, obviously we're watching this from home, as a spectator. So I mean, are they showing what they know is going to, draws people attention? I mean, because for all they know, Microsoft's conference, Sony's conference, whatever. I mean, that could be the first one that somebody's seeing. So, I mean, obviously they're going to play like the big AAA titles, have that on there. So, I mean, I think you got to keep that in mind too. That so obviously we're not seeing and getting, hands-on or anything like that, obviously, from all the, other titles that are actually on the show floor and, for the different people to go around and see. So.
What I didn't understand though is, like, for instance, Sony, Killzone is a launch title for them and it's an exclusive title. Why didn't they show that awesome gameplay video at the conference?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I watched it on IGN just today, and it was freaking sweet. But like at the conference, they show like a 30-second trailer. I'm like, yeah, we got Killzone, that's it. And then we're going to show you Assassin's Creed 4. That honestly, like, I don't think most people really care about, or at least that's not going to sell me on a console.
Right, because it's on. So, that's even going to be on the Wii U. That's not a console seller. Like, that's not going to. Oh, it's playing a game that's going to run on the Wii U. I'm so excited that it's going to be on the PlayStation 4. Like, that doesn't matter. And they did that actually with a lot of games. Like Dark Souls 2, they teased it, and then later on I was able to find actual gameplay footage with the user interface and stuff on it. And I don't know, I think out of all of them, out of all the specific conferences, I feel like the publisher ones, the EA and Ubisoft specifically, were probably done the best, even though, I mean, they weren't necessarily the most exciting. EA, oh my God, if they talk about sports, oh my God. The science behind the bouncing of the ball is probably really, really cool and probably makes your game feel really, really cool, but I do not care. And most people who are going to play that game aren't going to notice. Like, oh, they've got to find another way to show off those games other than just like, look how good it is when this guy dribbles. But anyway, besides that, they did a really, really good job. Like, EA knew that Battlefield 4 fans, they might go to the Xbox, they might go to the PlayStation 4 conference, but they're going to EA to see Battlefield 4. And so that's when they showed the big guns. That's when they showed the building falling down and they had 64 people on the stage playing
that was so incredible.
I mean, that was probably one, I won't say it's the best moment out of the conferences, but it's definitely pretty freaking awesome. I got a little choked up.
Yeah. What I thought was funny is, E3 is all, at least on the conferences, it's all media and journalists or whatever. So you would think that these guys are there just to report, like, be a little unbiased. But I swear, whenever I watch Sony's, whenever they announce like no always online crap, and there's no used games, I mean, everyone had like a raging hard on. Like, they were just screaming so loud. I was just like,
it was
seriously?
Sony fanboys in the room. It was Sony fanboys.
I was just like, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of threw me off. I just kind of laughed at it.
Yeah.
Or does that show how much or what people really think of it. I mean,
Well, I mean, I understand people are excited.
I'd
but
lose my shit too if if
yeah,
there were
but
like no
the thing is, we're
restrictions,
fans,
$400.
and these people
Yeah.
are supposed to just be reporting. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just thought
there
it was funny.
there was very few real deal, hands down professionals. Because you got to understand, especially with the industry itself, it is filled with fans. Like the people who make the games, the people who sell the games, the people who report on the games, they're all fans. They're all super fans. They're not just like people who are going out and getting a job. Like nobody wants to report on video games except for gamers. So yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of bias in a lot of that, but it definitely showed a little bit. I mean, there's even like the heckling during the first Battlefield 3. I think it was on the Xbox thing, and it like messed up, and somebody was heckling them, was like blah 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 blah, and yelling at them and stuff. And it was like, come on, just get over it.
The only
Yeah, that was totally uncalled for. I was like, it's not like this is. I don't know. I didn't feel like that was DICE's fault that their game didn't load.
No, it was E3's fault. E3.
So I
It was
mean,
the
why
people
are you
who run an
heckling a
E3.
guy?
Matter
I
of
was like,
fact,
those guys are douchebags.
it was during the whole. Did you watch EA's? During the whole time, EA had left, like somebody, or E3 at the conference, someone had left their mic on the whole time, and they're just like chatting in the background while they're playing gameplay.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh my gosh, it was so annoying. Oh.
The only professional that was there was Adam Sessler, and I think he was just out in the parking lot the whole time because that's the only place
I
I've
saw
seen him
that.
in any video
I
that
watched some of his videos.
It's probably too loud in there. All the
I love
games
that
going
guy.
on, and all the kids and smelly weirdos. Ugh. So let's. Oh man, there's. Oh yeah, no. One other thing I want to talk about the conferences specifically was the PlayStation 4. We were talking about that earlier, and I want to talk about the actual physical box, because when I saw that, when me and Kyle, because Kyle came over to watch the Sony conference with me, and when we saw that, we both busted out laughing. That is, as much as I'm kind of for Sony right now and the PlayStation 4, dumbest design 20 for the rest of the life forever.
I don't.
How am I supposed to
who
put the back of
designed
that
these
box
things?
against the wall? It's slanted, like, and I guess there's supposed to be cords back there. Maybe I'm not thinking about this right, but it was just so weird, and it looked like the Xbox One. It looked like the Xbox One. Oh.
Yeah, at first when I saw the box, I was just like, "What the heck is this? Who designed that?" Yeah, but I mean, it's grown on me a little bit. I don't. The more I look at it, it's not terrible, and honestly, I don't really care what the console looks like as long as it performs well. So
No, but I care that it fits. I care that it fits in the slot that I'm putting it
Yeah.
in. And I guess it
I
will,
mean, it is
but
impressively small. I've looked at the specs
Yeah.
compared to like even PS3 and the Xbox One and Xbox 360. It's really small, which is
yeah.
I think is really cool.
And that's really good, because that also, and that really just comes from the fact that they're not doing backwards compatibility the way that they've been doing it before. And that's, while PlayStation 4 is approaching it from like a cloud-based system, and Xbox is just ignoring backwards compatibility for some reason, at least they're changing it up a little bit, because, I mean, it makes the machines bigger than they need to be. Like the Wii U doesn't really have backwards compatibility. Really, I mean, it has actually a Wii BIOS in it, which I think is kind of weird, which is actually another little box, but the Wii's basically nothing anyway. But, like, the PlayStation 4 was huge, because the original one was ginormous, because it had a little PlayStation 2 in it, or the PlayStation 3, I'm sorry, had a little PlayStation 2 in it. And the same thing with, I don't know exactly how the architecture was on the Xbox 360 for the Xbox games. I know there's only certain games for the Xbox that were playable on the Xbox 360.
It always seems like the ones that I want to play are not on the list, and then
Yeah.
there's like every other game that they made that nobody likes is backward compatible.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Sony didn't
Sony didn't what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you guys cut out. I don't understand why Sony didn't come ready with cloud gaming. They said it wouldn't be available till 2014,
I don't know.
which isn't, I mean, I guess too far away after they launched the console. But I just figured if it's a brand new console, it should come with all this stuff already in it.
I mean, maybe they just want to test it a little bit longer. That doesn't really bother me, not having features on day one, as long as it's not like crippling features. Like, it doesn't play games, but you can have it and turn it on. Like,
So you don't want an Xbox then?
no, I don't want anything. I want a nice PC, and that's it.
I'm
just kidding.
sorry.
Get the F out, Paul.
The argument that the Xbox is a superior system because of all the like, for lack of a better word, video playback features is just erroneous to me. I don't
Just
just
think
turn
it's
your
superior,
TV on.
but I don't think it's. I don't know. I've actually heard everyone saying that PS3's hardware is so much better, and I've looked at the specs, and it's pretty much the exact same.
Yeah.
They have like a little bit different RAM.
You're talking about the PS4, you mean?
Yeah, PS4. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm kind of disappointed. I'm because I make videos on my computer and I want to make more videos through consoles, and it's kind of hard because I have to have all this like extra equipment and stuff just to get it to work. It's the reason why I haven't done it in a while. I was kind of disappointed because like the Xbox, it just records for like 15 minutes and then it deletes that and then it does another 15 minutes. I guess is how I'm assuming it does it, and you can only upload it to the Xbox Live. Like that's where it goes. It doesn't go to YouTube
really?
or anything. Yeah, it just goes up to the Xbox first.
So you can't like save it to USB and then transfer it to
I don't think so.
PC. Man,
I
that's
don't think so.
disappointing.
Yeah. Now
About,
I am really jealous that
Twitch.
I was about to say I am really jealous that Xbox One got Twitch. The Xbox Live got Twitch because that's a really because
I thought that was cool too.
yeah, because that's designed just for games. As a matter of fact, you can get in trouble if you're not streaming video games or not at least talking about video games on Twitch. Like that's what that's for. And Ustream's a little more open. You can stream whatever you want on Ustream, which is fine if the PlayStation community builds up enough and Ustream is easy, and becomes more acceptable to gamers. Then I mean it'll be great. But Twitch right now holds a huge force because they have things like League of Legends and World of Warcraft and these other big titles that pull in tens of thousands of viewers on a daily basis to Twitch. I mean, it'll be hard for Ustream and PlayStation 4 really to compete with that aspect of it. But I don't know. I mean, right now YouTube has not made any alliances, and there's no rumors of alliances. But who knows what we might see in the future? That'll be interesting to see if YouTube helps out Let's Players by aligning itself with a certain system, or even just making an open program that because right now there are YouTube apps for all the systems. I mean, I have a YouTube app on my Wii U, so they might be looking into that kind of stuff, of recording and uploading and editing type deal. That'd be really cool.
Not exactly the same, but talking about some of the TV stuff on them, I was kind of sad that PS4 doesn't have HBO Go on it.
Does it not? I didn't notice that.
No. That's why I was like, man, because I watch HBO Go quite a bit on my 360.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I can still use it on 360, but
For
it
all
would be
the
nice to
nudie
have
flicks?
it. Yeah, for all those nudie flicks, but it would be nice to have it on the PS4 already. But
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Maybe they'll obtain it. Actually, they may not though, because I could be wrong, but I think HBO Go's pretty much Xbox. I have not seen it on anything else. It's not on.
Well, I mean,
Wii.
it's on like, tablets and phones.
Yeah,
and
but those
all
are a
kinds
little
of
more
other stuff.
open. I don't know.
Can we talk about how sad it was that The Last Guardian didn't show with the
Yeah, what the heck?
Sony console?
There was a
Or the
lot of
Sony-
things that didn't show. The Last Guardian didn't show, and I was really surprised that Xbox didn't show the HD version of Fable. I want to see that. Like, I'm excited for that. Like, why didn't they show that? Why
That does
didn't
look
anybody
neat.
show
Does look
that?
neat.
Like,
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna assume that The Last Guardian is just dead. I mean, I can't imagine this going on for this long. And I mean, there's not necessarily been any like big news about it in forever. I mean, any news that comes out, it's just
but
like
I've heard a lot of people asking about that, and I heard a lot of people really hoping it would be at E3. So I got a feeling that maybe it's just kind of in limbo. Maybe
gestating.
yeah, maybe they're looking at the next generation, so they're having to rewrite it from the ground up, and 'cause you know how that gets, because you develop video games on a daily basis, right? That's what you do.
I mean, I thought for sure that was gonna be like they're just Sony's. Just we don't have any restrictions on used games, none of this or that,
And the Last Guardian.
The Last Guardian, and then my blood's gonna shoot out of my ears and my nose, and so I
That's the
thought
one
for
thing
sure
holding
that
me
was
back
like
from
a-
PS4 was I don't know, like for once I felt like Xbox showed better games off than, because usually PS3 has way more exclusives than the 360 does.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, man, I really want to get a PS3. And then show their confidence, and they showed like Infamous and Killzone and like, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm never played them, but I have no interest in that game at all.
They're supposed to be really good. They really are. They're supposed to be pretty cool games.
I don't know. It just didn't excite me. I was a little sad about that.
Yeah, they showed Final Fantasy 13 Versus 2, or whatever it's called. Final Fantasy 13 Versus, which
15,
is... I thought,
13 by 2.
I thought that was
weird.
supposed to be a fighting game, and now it looks like it's Final Fantasy 15. They just are calling it 13 Versus. I have no idea. People have been talking about that game and waiting for that game, because that was another game that kind of just fell off the edge and has come back. And then they announced a bunch of indie games. And then I was so confused because they announced Elder Scrolls Online, and I was thinking, it's going to be on PlayStation 4? Sold. I don't have to worry about upping my computer to worry about running Elder Scrolls Online. And plus, I know my friends won't have to buy computers. They can just play it with me on there. And then, like, a few minutes later, I'm looking at the Twitter, and it's on all the systems. And I'm like, oh, well, that's fantastic. Why'd you even mention it? Like, why are you the big reveal for Elder Scrolls Online when a lot of people are, like, skeptical about that game, which kind of hurts me, but understandably skeptical about that game. I thought that was a really weird announcement. That announcement confused me the most out of all of them. Not only that, but the little Asian guy who could barely speak English and talks really, really slow and made the whole thing drag on forever.
So, games-wise, what was your guys' favorite games of E3 so far?
Kyle, you go first. I'm going to go get my notes. I forgot my notes.
My favorite games of E3 so far. I'm going to be honest. If Star Wars Battlefront is fantastic, that will make this whole next generation for me. Like,
man, just seeing that
they
Battlefield 4 footage makes me excited for Battlefront.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Battlefront. The teaser.
I mean, it just. I thought I had only seen probably about half of the teaser. I mean, it was only like 10 seconds long, but
Yeah.
From seeing the beginning, and I don't know, it looked really awesome. I mean, I saw like so many just kind of shades of Battlefield in there, and I think if they can make a good hybrid of Battlefield with just an awesome Star Wars spin on it, I think DICE is sitting on a gold mine per se, not necessarily. I mean, obviously they probably make a lot of money off it, but just as far as like kind of reboot, and the name of that as well. They didn't say Star Wars Battlefront 3; it was just Star Wars Battlefront. So I wonder if they're almost treating it as like a reboot. They're going to kind of, not necessarily build it from the ground up, but
I feel like a lot of companies are doing that with like the new console release. They're starting fresh with old titles, like even Killzone, and some of the other ones are just no more numbers. It's just a new storyline.
Which,
except for that one.
let me talk about that real quick, because I wanted to mention. First of all, probably one of my games I was most excited to really see, and I didn't know it until I saw it, was what is it? The new Blizzard? No, the new game by the guys who made Halo originally.
Destiny.
I'm not even help you out because you sat there and just said the game I was most excited about, but I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was excited about it until I saw it. That's what I said.
God, that looked incredible.
It did look incredible, but it also looked a lot like Halo, which some people will criticize them for, but actually I want to applaud them for, because it allows them now to say, hey, we made really good Halo games. Now we're getting on a next gen console. Now we're going to make a game that might look and might kind of feel like Halo, but we don't have any of the rules or the constrictions that we built on the old Halo games. They don't have to worry about all the old stuff that they had built up. They don't have to worry about making the multiplayer the same way. They don't have to worry about using the same enemies. They don't have to worry about using the same guns, same power-ups, nothing. Now they get to start fresh, make a same kind of awesome shooter that, the original Halos were, and they don't have to worry about any of that old stuff. And that makes me really excited. And it makes me excited because now 344 studios who's making Halo now, was it 343? Is that what it is?
343, yeah.
Now they can say, we're on a new console. We're not the old Halo guys. Here's a new way to approach Halo, which will kill people, but I'm excited about kind of maybe a new take on Halo. Maybe not a top-down twin stick shooter on my tablet like the next game is going to be, but the next big 3D Xbox game. I want them to mix it up and revitalize that series.
I wish Halo would take a more. I'm probably going to get flack for this because it does
Call of
have
Duty kind of spin to it.
yeah, no,
Oh my god!
it
get
does
outta
have
here.
More dogs.
it does have a huge mythos and stuff like that, but making it more story centric, I don't know. I don't know, like
I felt like maybe
almost.
Halo 4 did a little better job of that.
Yeah.
At least I enjoyed the campaign on it more than some of the other ones, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
Almost, well, I mean, obviously there's comparisons between Master Chief and Cortana and Booker and
Elizabeth.
what Elizabeth. Yeah, just I mean, obviously male female companion there, but
Right.
the part where like I mean Booker, you are Booker, but you see Booker. You know what I mean? Like his reflection. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, a more just
Personal.
personal. Yeah, which like Nathan did. I mean, they did kind of. I did think the whole story of Halo 4 was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, but to see it more just kind of like I don't know, human. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that would be neat.
Did you
And
notice
Halo 5 sorry, Paul, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah,
You can
sure.
go ahead.
Whatever. No, go ahead.
I was going to say Halo 5's little teaser trailer was amazing. Halo always gets me with their advertising.
I was gonna say, did you notice in his hand he was holding Cortana? I didn't notice it the first time. I just thought it was a dog tag. The second time I looked at it, it's that
Oh, was
Cortana
it?
chip. Yeah, it's that chip that
Oh,
she's
that's
on.
awesome.
There's like the little circle in the middle where she's supposed to like pop out. Yeah. So I've not been
that's
Halo
what's gonna
4,
make
so
me
don't tell me
miss
like don't.
Xbox so
Well, see,
much.
that's not gonna come out till like 2021.
Well, yeah, but still.
I'm
It's
gonna get
come out
both
on
consoles.
Xbox 2. What is the next Xbox going to be called?
It's the
Seven.
Xbox 360 again. I mean,
they have quoted them. They are quoted as saying this might be the last console you'll ever have to buy. You will never have to buy
Yeah,
another
they
console.
always have
after
to say that, but whatever.
No, it's because of
Oh,
the cloud.
that's
It's because of the
like
cloud computing. Eventually, your Xbox won't do anything. Some other supercomputer somewhere else will do it, and you'll just download it with your high-speed internet, and you'll just play it with no latency. Like that's
Sweet.
the big idea. Which I don't trust the cloud because eventually clouds rain and they disappear. Oh,
Oh my god, that was the dumbest pun ever.
how philosophical was that? But so yeah.
Okay,
But
what
that's-
about The Division? I thought that game was probably my favorite of E3. I thought it looked
I'll
freaking
attest
sweet.
to this. I was
Oh yeah, that was.
losing it with all the particle effects.
God, like the
Did you see?
Yeah, the smoke.
light in the smoke. Oh my god.
Yeah,
God, that game was beautiful.
it looked really good.
I was
It looked
super
really,
impressed.
Really good. I
I
have.
think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, kind of speaking of the Division, because that seemed to have obviously there was the commander mode on Battlefield 4, but
Yeah.
I think if the tablet integration, I think if it's done right, I think that could be something that's really neat. Like,
Well,
I don't.
oh, sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I don't necessarily want to pick up my tablet to play a first-person shooter on it because that won't be,
Right.
Right.
you know, that's just not designed for that. But like the Division commander mode, if it's a more so of like an interface, but you're affecting in-game
Yeah. Kind of
strategies like that. I mean, I think that
Did you guys see
asymmetrical.
the video with interview with Watch Dogs with IGN by chance today
I did
or
not.
yesterday? It was pretty cool. They went over. It was kind of a similar commander mode type thing. Basically, he was doing a mission and he gets caught by the cops or whatever, and he's running away. Well, apparently in the game you can put like a ping to any of your friends online, and basically they can help you. They can get like a tablet and join your game, and basically on their tablet it's like an overview of the map that you're in.
Yeah.
And as you're running through the map, they can like hack things for you. Like they showed them like hacking like these roadblock things to like take out cop cars, and like they hacked street lights and stuff like that, which I think that's kind of cool. I mean,
There's a couple rules they're gonna have to follow though. One, it's gonna have to be free. I'm not gonna pay to play an extra version of that game.
well, I think it will be.
Two, it has to be balanced. I don't want my friend getting on, or like I don't want if for whatever reason it's incorporated into multiplayer. I don't want them having an advantage because they have some dude on a tablet who's overpowered. And it
I
also
was curious with the Battlefield 4 thing.
Yeah, it also has to just make sense. You don't want it just has to fit into what's going on, which honestly, from what I've seen so far, I feel like that's exactly what is happening. It looks like it makes sense. It's balanced. It's quick and it's fresh and it's easy and it's not necessary. I think that's the other thing is it just can't be necessary for the experience to be complete. Like if I don't have a friend with a tablet, then I shouldn't feel like I'm missing out.
I agree.
Yeah, of course you do, because I'm a genius.
Not to change gears a whole lot, but
No,
going
go
back
for it.
to Xbox, I just saw an article on here that they're explaining their 10 friends thing where you can like lend 10 family members or friends or whatever your games.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
No.
Well, basically they cleared it up
I've
and
heard that, yes.
you choose 10 people on your friends list. Since every game's downloaded onto your Xbox, basically any of those 10 people can play any of your games at any time as long as one of the other people isn't trying to play the same game.
Yeah.
So you no longer have to like give him a disc or something like that. I think it's pretty neat. I mean,
No.
Can we talk about how big of a PR nightmare this is for
Yeah,
Microsoft?
I was about to say, like, that's fine. That's cool. That's whatever. I don't lend my games to friends very often. I don't care.
but the fact though that I no longer have to be like, hey, can I borrow it? It's like, hey, you bought Metro Last Light last week. I can just get on there and play it without even have to worry about it.
I can't see it working that way, because then all of a sudden,
I understand this legal jargon that I have to before I lend it to you.
I feel like it's got to be more complicated than that, because then all of a sudden they're going to sell 1/10 of the games that they normally would sell, because everybody else is just going to play off other people's games. So we can't play the same game at the same time. Well, I'll just play a different game.
Well, but I mean that's the thing though. Not everyone. It's more than only one person can play it at a time.
I mean, I guess that is kind of a balance for that. I mean, I guess that would help out a little bit, but it does seem kind of, I don't know.
Hell,
I'd be surprised
if they're gonna. If I have to buy less games, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I'm not going to complain about it, but I would be surprised if it stuck that way, and it might not be that big a deal. I mean, for me, I'm going to buy my own personal copy of whatever. If I want to play it, I just want to play it. I don't want.
Well, yeah, I probably will too.
Yeah, but it is kind of interesting. Actually, it'd be really cool if they did that with all games, whether they're friends or not. Like if they had some type of trial or demo. I mean, obviously demos take out a development time, but if they just made a way to just trial every game where it's just streamed onto your console and you can just test it out for like 30 minutes, and then if you want it, you got it. And so I can see you're playing Game of Thrones, the video game RPG Master.
Oh my god, no, thank you.
And then I was like, oh, I want to try that out. So I hit the button, and all of a sudden it's streaming onto my computer. And that's something that's absolutely possible, because I've seen it with other games. I've seen it a lot on PC. I mean, they had that whole system that was built around streaming games that kind of bombed. What was that called? Do you remember?
What, the Ouya or?
No, it was way before that. It was like a
okay.
subscription that you paid for, but it also came with the console, but you could like stream games anywhere.
I have no idea.
I can't remember. It was a couple years back when it started, and I'm pretty sure they got bought out. Maybe by Sony, actually. They got bought out by somebody. Actually, I think they got bought out by the people who are helping Sony do streaming. As complicated as that is.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of the name either.
Yeah, it's something that just didn't make sense for gamers at the time. But I definitely see that streaming games is definitely going to be the future, and that's where obviously that's why the Xbox is like pushing cloud gaming. That's why we're important, because we're going to be the future of gaming, and they might just well be. I remember there's an MMO on the PC called Terra, and they're free to play and yada yada. Actually, they weren't at first, but they are now. They're free to play. And one of the big things is like if you want to try it, all you gotta do is click here, and then all of a sudden you're streaming a demo version of it, and you get to play it for like 20 minutes, which is super cool. Like no download time. It just loads up and you go, and that's pretty dang cool. But obviously that has nothing to do with these systems, because these systems aren't doing that. It's just a dream that I have.
Backing up to the Ouya, big news out of their camp. The police got called on their
I saw that.
their quote unquote booth they had set up like across the street, and I think whoever's in charge of like the E3 thing, like they I may have misunderstood it, but apparently they even rented trucks and like parked them out in front.
Yeah.
So like they couldn't be seen, and I think we had just moved, and the police came, and they had all the correct papers and everything like that, and police checked them and went on their way, and I know, Paul, that really sparks your interest. I know.
So wait, so they weren't invited into the conference?
No, and I guess
No,
E3 was pissed that they were across the street.
So
trying
they
to
just
mark
set
the
up across the
product.
street. That's pretty
Yeah.
freaking awesome, though.
Yeah.
Especially
I
if you
thought
get the
it was
rights to do
hilarious.
that. That's pretty ballsy. Actually, I do kind of like that. I'm surprised they weren't at E3. I mean, I don't know how they
Well,
probably.
because I think it's a piece of crap. At least
No.
everything I've read about it.
I mean, it's a phone that doesn't have any phone capabilities. It just plays
Right.
games. I mean, it is a piece of crap. It'd be great. It'd be great if like people were developing for that.
But
They're
they're
not. I mean, they're developing it for the phone. They're developing it for touchscreens, and this is supposed to use a controller. I mean, it's just
I can play Fruit Ninja on my TV.
it was a cute idea. It got backed. But yeah, you can already. It's on Xbox Live. You can download Fruit Ninja on Xbox Live. Use your Kinect. It's much better.
Oh my god, and look like
played
an
it.
idiot.
Hey, it's better than sitting there not looking like an idiot. I guess I don't know.
What did you guys think of Titanfall?
It's interesting. I've heard rumors that there's no multiplayer. I think I
it's
heard that.
all multiplayer.
Yeah, but for some reason I heard there was
well, I
no
don't know
multiplayer.
if it's all multiplayer, but that's what the guy said. He's primarily as a focus.
I think that's all
multiplayer.
they showed was multiplayer. At least I think it looks fantastic. If it's balanced as
Yeah,
well
I
as
think
it
it looks
is,
awesome.
a big thing. We were actually watching the IGN stream for me and Kyle were, and the big. Actually, I don't know if you were watching me with me when I saw this, but they were talking about how like this could be like their new consoles coming out. This could be a time for a new first-person shooter to like really step up and become the dominant first-person shooter. Because like we had 007, and then we had Halo, and with the new consoles we started getting Call of Duty, and then with the next new consoles, which is now, who knows? I mean, we have Titanfall, we have Destiny, we have a lot of new ideas with first-person shooters that are different than the same old that we've been getting with Call of Duty.
If a slightly realistic looking dog is the biggest innovation that we're going to get out of the next Call of Duty, then I certainly do hope that there
That
is gonna be
engine is a
somebody stepping
joke.
up.
I
It
saw
is
they
a
were talking to Dice, and someone asked in the comment, they were like, "So do you guys have fish that swim away from you?" He's like, "Oh, sorry, we kind of skipped over that and went more with destroying 80-story skyscrapers."
It's kind of like they spent, instead of spending time on really working on the engine, it's like, oh, let's just make another game. We'll do
Let's
the
make
voice
the hands
acting. Oh, that
really
only took
scarly
like,
and have dirt on them.
yeah, basically that took like 2 weeks. It was like, well, let's make the dogs look a little bit better at least. And then that took like another week. And they were like, well, I guess we'll add fish. And they're like, okay, I'll do that. And the game's probably done. They're probably just sitting on it, waiting for the release date. I mean, there's no way that took them that long.
It's
to
been
make.
done for like a year.
It has to have been. They probably had it done since they started doing annual annual
Well, I mean,
shows.
Infinity Ward didn't do the last Modern Warfare. Sledgehammer Games did that. So
Yeah.
Infinity Ward's probably been working on this for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and they've just been waiting to release it. Because
I hope it's good. Everyone's bashing it. I mean, I bash it too. I haven't bought a Call of Duty in forever, but I mean, it would be sweet if they actually change stuff up. But
they have been a little bit like with Black Ops 2. They changed stuff up, but it still wasn't a good game because it still looked like crap and it still played like crap. Like they changed certain things up, but they didn't change the engine, and they
that's
didn't
what maybe
change the
I'm
engine
hoping,
here.
that was a big problem. Was like servers and stuff like that. I feel like people's connections to servers was like the biggest impact in that game because there's so much lag. Like
Yeah.
you may not have noticed it, but like this guy's a half a second ahead of this guy
No,
and stuff.
you noticed it. Shooting
and
around
we'll-
corners, you noticed it.
Like
And that's
when
what
I
I'm hoping the
clearly
next gen
step
stuff.
back into a hallway or something and all of a sudden I drop dead.
Or like
Like,
I shoot first and the other person doesn't shoot at all and I die. Like that's
Right,
lag.
right.
Well, like Microsoft said, they like I don't know, like quadrupled the amount of servers they use for Xbox Live gaming, which is
Yeah.
pretty awesome. If that makes multiplayer experiences a lot better, that'd be sweet. I mean, I may be more interested in a Call of Duty.
Yeah, and in Xbox's defense, they are putting the money out for games. They are putting the money out for new games, new IPs, and better experiences. But for some reason, they're covering it up with all this weird DRM and
Pointless
rules.
They
restrictions.
probably have to shovel that money out to get anybody to want to make anything for their system after
Yeah,
telling
I mean-
what it has to do to be able to play their games.
Yeah, they've basically funded new studios to develop games for the Xbox 360. It's really weird,
Yeah, like,
honestly.
Paul was telling me earlier, why would any indie gamer want to develop for Microsoft when it's free for like Sony?
Yeah, it's,
And like Paul was saying, it costs you like $10,000 to do one for Xbox.
yeah, just to go through the, I could be wrong, but it's 10 grand, and I'm pretty sure if it doesn't go through the authentication process with Microsoft, then I don't know if you have to pay another 10, but you may not get your money back, and you may not be on Xbox Arcade or whatever. And then if you accidentally release a game with bugs, which guess what, that happens all the time, and you want to update your game, that's another $10,000. And I'm sure now they do have their indie, game area where it's like really crappy games, but it's pretty obvious that they have a restriction on how much they can upload. So you're not getting as big of titles, or they're just not as developed because they don't have as much space. So they might be getting up there for free, but they're also not, they're far, far more restricted. It's obvious. There's not very many games on the indie space that I've downloaded and enjoyed. So it is kind of a shame. But some of the best indie titles of the PlayStation 3 and 360 era have been on the PlayStation 3. Like the best thing that the number one seller for Xbox has been Minecraft. But I don't hear people I've heard so many stories about what's the
Journey.
game? Yes, Journey. And like I've heard grown men, I heard Total Biscuit, this cynical Brit, talk about how he got emotional at the end of that game because that's how good it was.
I think that concept to me is awesome. Like,
I enjoyed the game a lot.
It's multiplayer, but you can't talk to them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that I don't even know if I think I may have watched a video on YouTube of them playing through it. I don't know. That was kind of the time where I was still bitter about my PS3, about everything that happened. Short bio on my Sony love-hate relationship. Ever since that it got their network got hacked and it went down, like I didn't touch my PlayStation after that for a long time. And then even after that, I literally only bought console exclusives. Like you couldn't only play them on PlayStation 3. And slowly I've been integrating new games. But that was kind of when I was still like, oh, PlayStation. So I never played that through myself.
I was about to say I had a PlayStation 3, and then like a few months later after I bought it, it got hacked. And I never touched it after that. I just really didn't. I was like, I just didn't trust it. I didn't care about it anymore.
That's why I'm kind of glad they're charging money this time for their network. I feel like that'll actually make them, I don't know.
And it's no more expensive than Xbox Live, and it's PlayStation Plus, which comes with free games. That's
awesome.
It's a better value.
Good point to make though is that you can only play multiplayer games if you have the online service. So it essentially turns.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially Xbox Live.
Yeah, and that's the same way Xbox Live is. Matter of fact, I don't even think you can voice chat on Xbox Live, which is I think is the same way for PlayStation Plus now.
God, that's another thing I'm so happy about PS4 is they finally have cross game chat and party chat,
which is good. And they have the whole deal with. So let's just do this real quick. We haven't talked much about Nintendo. I think we're going to take a break here in a minute, but I want to finish up with which conference we like the most, which console we like the most so far, at least out of the two.
And which one we're going to buy.
Yeah, which one we're leaning towards right now, because you never know, things might change. And then we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back, and I just want to really dive into a lot of the games that were talked about. I have a whole list of a bunch of games. Halo at 60 frames per second. I mean, come on. Who's ever heard of Halo at 60 frames? It's always run at like 2. So let's start out with what did I say? Consoles? Which conference did you enjoy the most? I know my answer, but you guys go first. Nathan, go.
Which console do I like the most? Is that what you said? Conference.
Did you enjoy the best out of all the ones you didn't see?
I didn't get to see EA or Ubisoft, but I think I'm going to go with Xbox, even though I'm not really leaning towards buying one. I think they did the right thing.
It was a really good conference. It really was.
I thought they did well, showing just pretty much straight games the entire time. And I was impressed with monthly exclusive, given some of them were just like a 30-second clip of something which you didn't really know much about.
Yeah.
But I still think they did a great job.
That's E3, though.
Yeah.
They always tease us at E3.
Yeah.
What about you, Kyle?
I have to lean towards PlayStation. I do think the Xbox conference did give me a little bit more faith
Now,
in them. I mean,
I am including EA and Ubisoft conferences in this, and the Nintendo one for that matter.
sure.
Okay.
I kind of feel like Ubisoft and EA, since none of their games are exclusive, they pretty much showed them both at their big ones at least. But I think Sony, they knew what they had to do in their conference, and that was to have huge balls and come out and just throw it right in Microsoft's face. No used restriction, no online restriction, $3.99, and I think it's awesome that they were just so.
I think that single-handedly saved them.
From, yeah, I mean,
It's a big deal.
I don't know necessarily. I mean, I'm not trying to disagree with you, but I don't.
Oh no, man, that's fine.
I don't know if "save" is the right word, but I definitely think
no. But that put it over the edge.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I definitely think that, and a lot of people. I mean,
I was kind of worried for them at first because they started out, which I don't have much problem with this, but they started out with a TV and everyone was so ticked. I'm fine with that. They're showing the features of their console. I expect them to talk about that kind of thing. But yeah, I agree. They started showing some of the games, and they hit it with the price tag and the no internet and used game things. So that was awesome.
And even the video of the Sony used game instructional video.
Oh yeah.
That was freaking hilarious.
You cannot tell me that's. I mean, Microsoft fan or not, you cannot tell me that's not just like the biggest.
They were just like, we're just gonna beat the crap out of Xbox over this stuff.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that video, basically it's a little Asian guy and a big white guy who were at the conference. I don't know their names, and one of them goes, "Hey, can I borrow that game?" And it's like, how to lend a game over on the PlayStation 4. Step 1, and it cuts back to the two guys, and he just hands them the game, and he goes, "Thanks," and then it's like that's how you do it because it's simple. They don't have the DRM. That's the whole point. I thought that was funny. Probably, I'm kind of going different from you guys because out of all of them, and I'm just talking about like pure presentation, I'm gonna actually cut out Nintendo. I think Nintendo actually did the best job, but it wasn't technically a conference; it was just a video. So they had little room to mess up. They could edit out what they didn't want to show and things that weren't as good, or they had a lot more. They had a better ability of making sure they got their point across. But I think they also showed probably some of the most unique and actually, to me, probably the games that looked like the most fun out of all of E3 were shown in the Nintendo show. Go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
No.
I did hear a quote. I think they said the Wii U will have the most exclusives and fun games of this next generation. It was something kind of weird like that. But
I definitely think.
Obviously, I mean essentially every game that they make.
Mega Man is in Super Smash Bros.
I know Super Smash Bros. Looks like a bunch of fun. Mario Kart 8 looks like. I mean, Mario Kart has been a solid series for them for a long time.
The new Super Mario best-selling games.
I wouldn't be surprised. New Super Mario Land 3D looks really, really fun. Plus, it was 4-player cooperative, local or whatever. Their games just look really, really fun. But I'm just gonna finish up real quick, and then we'll take a break and we'll come back specifically to talk about the various games that we saw. But I want to say that Ubisoft, in my opinion, had the best conference. It was the most solid. They showed a lot of games. They cut out a lot of boring stuff. They weren't talking about bouncing basketballs. They weren't talking about. I mean, yeah, they were showing games that were at other conferences, but they only showed Watch Dogs.
Well, the Division wasn't at any other conference.
Was that? Who was that?
That was Ubisoft.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought you said they showed a bunch of clips that were from other people.
They showed a couple. That's what I'm saying. They only showed a couple that were from other, and that's Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed 4. All their other games weren't really shown. I guess Rayman Legends might have been shown, but they had the Rabbids, they had the Crew, which looks really good. They had Splinter Cell, which I thought was a bad video, but it looks really cool. They have the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, which I think looks amazing. They had a lot of really unique games that just wasn't rehashed, and they weren't boring tech demos of sports balls bouncing around and people getting hit by other people and weird yelling, screaming, fighting guys. That EA sports section was just bizarre.
I've got actually breaking news. Apparently the Battlefield 3 Close Quarters DLC map pack is free to download on your Xbox Live.
Are you serious?
I just got word that's
Holy frick, I'm about to go download it right now. That's the DLC I don't have.
That's perfect, because we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back. This will be a two-parter, so you can listen to this and then you can listen to the next part anytime you want. I'm actually going to release these 2 days in a row, so if you're listening to this on day one, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow to get to the second part. But tomorrow, or the next part, it's going to be just games. We're going to ignore consoles, or at least we're going to try to ignore consoles, stay on topic, which we never do, and talk about the 1,000 games that were talked about, which World of Tanks for the 360. I mean, come on now, an old MMO. Let's not talk about that. Anyway, thank you for watching, or actually just thank you for listening. Again, that's youtube.com/FreeTheHawk. Of course, if you're listening to this on YouTube, then you can hit over iTunes and search for FTHcast, and you can find us there. I am Paul, and that's at FreeTheHawk, and you are Kyle, and that's at
Who Am Kyle.
And you are Nathan, and that's at
Heisenberg 56.
Yes. Thank you so much. Subscribe, like, comment, and everything else. And we'll see you all in about 5 minutes for the part 2. Thank you very much.